Everything worked, Mr. Andre. You're shocked.
Yes,
It's been a while. It has been a while since the opening of this show worked smoothly. And what's funny, it's been happening on all my other shows. So it's like every opening of the shows have either you can't hear us, the thing doesn't play. But today of all days, the week before Easter, it worked. And
there you go. See?
It must have known we're going to talk about Giants today, and I think that's why Mr. Bob Sharp is staying sick and staying at home today, because he saw the title of the show. And he said, "I don't want to talk college football because we're not talking about Georgia, and we're not talking about my Dodger Blue today because the Giants are hot, Mr. Andre."
It's amazing, isn't it?
It is.
I don't think I've ever seen him have a start like this.
Yeah,
it's just
you got to go back early 2000s, right?
I would say the 1900s when back in not 1900s,
Jesus,
like 1940, 2000, no,
yeah,
1920, 84 when they won the World Series, 1994,
yeah,
right, and then no, maybe it is 2000s, 2010, 2012, and 2014.
Yeah,
is when they won the World Series. That you got to go back then. Gee.
Yeah, because right now, let's see, the Giants they pretty much started the 2025 season 7-1. We know they're 11-4 right now, second place in the division. But yeah, they're playing good baseball. They're playing smart baseball, and I just like we're going to talk about it later on in the show. But I'm hoping they can keep this run going,
Yes.
and play this kind of baseball.
It'd be nice to see them do what they've been doing just now. Like with the Yankees, I thought they were going to get bombed.
Yeah,
and here they took 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
If they can take 2 out of 3. Which is really a tough task to do.
Yes.
From every team, from every club that they play, we're talking some serious good baseball all of a sudden. And the turnaround that just happened. And most of this players that they're playing right now were on last year's team. So does that 1 year of experience make a difference in the way you play and the way the coach coaches them?
Yeah. Well, too, I think, it's just they're a young group with some veterans that have been around and know how to play. And for me, it seems like there's like I'm watching the games and you know how a lot of times they'll pan over to the dugouts and you can see and I don't hate using the word professionalism, the way the guys play, not play, but actually, move around in the dugouts, the way they act. And you can see when they pan over to the Yankees dugouts, you see a group of guys that know they got to be careful about what they say, they do, or the way they act in the dugout. It's like this, it's like almost like they feel like big brothers watching them. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's the Yankees. And when they pan over to the Giants dugout, they're all having fun. It's like, they're in little league, they're enjoying the moment, they're having fun. And you bringing up that Yankee thing series, let me put this up here because this is I was a little surprised by this because I didn't think, oh, wait, let me do it the correct way. I got to present and then share screen, Mr. Andre Sala. And let me find it here. And there it is. And this shocked me because I didn't really think about it. But San Francisco Giants have won their first ever series in New York against the Yankees. That's kind of a shocker, right?
It is.
Because you think about how many times these two teams have played in the last since late 1800s.
Right.
And for
Yes,
them,
it's really surprising that they won. I didn't think, I didn't think of it either. I just thought, hey, they took 2 out of 3. Great, they got
yeah,
a good start going. But
yeah,
to find out that they won the first series, that's amazing. Maybe things are looking bright, and they can take advantage of this and keep playing. I'm really take advantage and keep playing the way they are. But what's surprising me is Young Hoo Lee.
yeah, God, he's something else, boy. He's something else.
Last year didn't have a leadoff hitter.
No, no,
Everybody, he got hurt, and then the guys that they tried, they have a 1 or 2 good games, and then they go 0 for 35.
yeah,
And this year, with him in the lineup being healthy, and him being in the lineup and being the leadoff hitter,
yeah,
it's working. And especially he's got Chapman batting behind him.
yep, Matt, yeah,
So he gets on base, and Chapman brings him in or moves him over to third.
yeah.
You know, it,
His stats are just out of. It's crazy. I look at his slugging percentage is 704. I mean, his batting average right now is 352, and you go down that lineup with the Giants, and you start looking at RBIs and home runs and doubles and their slugging percentage,
right,
and you're just like, this isn't the team that we thought we were getting, right?
exactly. I thought it was going to be the same kind of thing that we happened last year. They just come in, they might get lucky and win one, out of a series, and then all of a sudden they're 10 games behind first,
Yeah, yeah.
and here they are. If they wouldn't have lost those 3 in a row against Cincinnati, they'd be in first.
Yeah, yeah. No, you're right. You're right. I mean, like I said, hopefully they can continue playing like this.
Yes.
I think we're at like even at a point where, like you just said a few minutes ago, I think if they can s- play 500 ball, I'd be happy because we didn't expect much. But getting this, I would, hey, if they can win 2 out of 3 series, uh, I'd be happy with that.
Yes.
I'd be happy. And
You
then
just
you and
got
I can broadcast the show from a World Series. We'll get tickets. We'll sit there and we'll make fun of Bob because the Giants will make the World Series and the Dodgers will stay at home and watch the game, and we can bust Bob's balls from what are they calling the stadium now? I remember back in the days. How many times has that stadium been changed names? I mean, Jesus Christ!
right now it's called
Come
not,
on, you got this.
not Oracle. Oracle is, I think it's Oracle.
Yeah, is
Levi's is
no, you're right. It's
Niners.
Oracle, but when it first came out, it was AT&T, right?
AT&T.
Yeah. Then it was God, it was so many other names, man.
Then it was US Bank, I think.
Yeah, yeah,
Something had to do with the bank. I'm not sure if it was US Bank, but it's something like that.
yeah,
And now it's Oracle. I think it's been changed. Oracle, I think, has been on for a while now. Like maybe 10 years or so.
yeah.
But it's been Oracle. I think this is the third change, possibly the fourth,
Yeah,
but I think it's
possibly
the
more.
third. I
Well,
think
here's your historical significance. Their 7-1 start is the best since, like I said, 2003. So this is their best start since 2003. And in that year, they went 100 wins, 61 loss record, and won the NLS. So hey, there's hope. Bob,
yes, there's
Bob.
hope.
Hey, you know what? Bob's not here. Why don't we put this? Where is it? Where is it? We don't want that. There we go. There it is. There it is. We'll put the little Giants logo up there on top to frustrate Mr. Bob Sharp. But yeah, their best start since 2003. Well, equal. No, actually, this is their best start. 7-1 as their best start since 2003. And they went on to the NL West. I won the NL West. So we're hopeful, right, Andre? We're hopeful
Yes,
that
sir. I'm surprised that this is the best start since 2003,
Yeah,
because you got to consider when they won the World Series in 10, 12, and 14. I'm surprised that in one of those 3 years, they didn't have the best start.
yeah, yeah. What would you say other than I love saying his name, but other than oh God, John Hong Juan
Hong Lee,
Wu
Hong,
Lee.
one Holy.
Yeah, Juan Holy. Other than him, I mean, what surprises you the most with the Giants right now? Is it the pitching that's surprising you the most, or it's just the
Mm,
they're getting from
I think what's
guys
surprising. I think what's
like
surprising me the most is that when they get runners in scoring position, they're bringing them in.
yeah,
Last year, if I know it's not going to be right, but it's going to be something like this. They're like men in scoring position. They were like 1 for 15 in one game,
yeah,
uh,
yeah. It was
0
horrible.
for 9 in one game. So like they were something like 3 for 34. Combined the game. If you combine the games together,
Yeah,
they were like 3 for 34. It might have been worse and might have not been that bad, but it's in that category.
yeah,
And now they're men in scoring position. They're 2 for 3. They're five
yeah,
for nine with men in scoring position in a particular game.
yeah,
So that's surprising me the most. The pitching, yes, but they had good pitching last year.
yeah, yeah. They did have good. They
Uh,
just couldn't get runs. They couldn't get
they couldn't
runs.
get runs. The pitcher would go um, one hit through 6 innings
Yeah,
and only give up one run, and yet he has to leave. With them losing 1-0 or 2-1, and then
two to
he gets the
one.
loss because the Giants couldn't
They
score.
couldn't.
Bring in extra runs. This year they're bringing him in, so I think besides Juan Hu Lee, the Giants batting is surprising me the most because they're bringing in runners, not with
Yeah,
just home runs, but with doubles, triples, and so on.
yeah, no, you're right. I checked it again. Their on base percentage was at 0.305, ranked 21st out of 30 MLB teams last year. So yeah, they were getting guys on base, but just not getting them home, and getting that
Exactly.
double play ball. Oh God, there was a. I think I saw some crazy stat with the Giants of double play balls that they how
Yeah,
many they hit into, how
yeah.
many double play balls they hit into last year.
I think they led the league in double play
They
balls.
did. They did lead the league. I think I remember seeing that. But
Yeah.
I'm excited. I think the Bay Area needs this. I think we need a winner.
Right.
I think with the Warriors sneaking into the playoffs, that it's just there's a different feel, and not just here. Like like Andre and myself, we're kind of stretched. We're kind of far, not far. I'm 2 hours from the Bay Area. You're what, about 2.5, 3 hours to the Bay Area.
Yes,
So
about 2 hours.
you get that. You can start seeing people start wearing their Giants hats. You start, the Warriors jerseys start to come out. Whether you live in the Central Valley or whether you live in Northern California. And I know there's people out there that get pissed off because some people in Modesto say we're not in Northern California. If you live in Modesto, you do not live in Northern California. I hate to be that guy. You live in the Central Valley. Northern California stops in San Francisco. So
Yes.
I do the fights that you get into Facebook groups about Northern and Central
Oh
California.
yeah.
But I think it's good. I think you start to see, the fan base start to get excited, and the jerseys start coming out. People are talking about the Giants. People are talking about the Warriors, and it's a good thing for especially all the nonsense that we're going through in California. Hello,
Mhm.
Gavin Newsom. We
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited, and I hope they can continue
They
playing
can
this
continue.
hot throughout the season.
Right.
They don't have to. You and I both don't think they're going to win every series. We
No.
can't expect that. I mean, we got to expect what we've seen a little bit of last year, and Hopefully, some good play this year. Hopefully, they can get some runners around and
Yes.
move and play Dusty Baker baseball. Man, that was the thing that was so good about Dusty is Dusty knew how to move guys along.
Hmm.
From first to second, he understood it.
Right. Let's be realistic.
Yeah.
Do we expect the Giants to win the World Series?
As a fan, yes, but yeah,
Yes. As a fan, yes. But realistically, probably not. But
no,
what we want to see is just for them to play good,
yeah,
not to
yeah,
be losing 9-0 in the third inning.
yeah,
Because now the game's over. You're not going to watch it.
yeah,
You don't give a shit because they're losing 9-0. I ain't watching it, so you don't give a shit.
yeah,
But if they can make the game interesting,
yeah,
lose if you're gonna lose. I know you hate to lose 6-5 because if you think, oh, that one hit could have got us 2 runs,
yeah,
you
yeah,
hate to lose that way. But I'd rather see them lose 6-5 than 9-0 because
yeah.
9-0 puts no interest in me.
Yeah, yeah, you lose interest quickly, especially when you're watching a game and it gets out of hand like that, and you know that the other team doesn't have the resources to even make a run. It kind of takes the whole like I need to watch this game because you do have teams like I'll say it, the Dodgers, the Yankees,
Hmm.
Boston, that you knew, hey, you had to watch in the seventh, eighth, and ninth inning because they would always make a run. Last year's Giants, that wasn't the case. The Giants, like you're saying, they had great pitching. He would come in, whoever was pitching, he'd pitch a two hitter with losing 2-1, and he'd get dropped out in the sixth. Somebody, a reliever, would come in and give up two more runs, and and then you just knew by the seventh, eighth inning, you knew it was over. The
It's
Giants
over.
just couldn't get a run in if their life depended on it. So right now, as of right now, Mr. Andre, to make the postseason, the Giants are 5.4%. Or no, all right. To make no, let me get that. Sorry, the way the guy wrote this is nonsense. So 70.95 to make the postseason. That's pretty good. seventy
That's
percent
good.
chance of
That's a
making the
good.
postseason.
All
Yeah.
that. What does that mean? That means they have to win 2 out of 3 games, 1 out of 3.
In our division, it's going to take over 100 games. Are you right? In our
Yeah, you would
division,
think it would take over 100 games.
it's going to take over 100.
Right.
Did anybody expect San Diego to play this well? No. You
Hell
know,
no.
no. San Diego's leading the division. So, two teams that everyone thought were going to be on a downward slope are playing hot baseball. And I don't know if this is, we don't know if this is early. Hey, let's just go out there and bust our balls and play the best we
Right.
can. And can we play like this the whole? That's the thing. Everybody needs to realize. Basically, we know it's a long friggin' season, man.
Right.
You come out hot. There's going to be a couple of patches where you're going to lose 2 or 3 series, and
Yeah.
then maybe come back and get hot and maybe win 3 or 4. And it's up and down baseball.
Right.
They have
In the past, the Giants always kind of like started hot.
yeah,
Not really hot like they're doing now, but they started good. And then comes June, and they get that
the June Sloom.
June, and all of a sudden they're losing 18 games in a row.
Yeah,
Then they
let's hope.
win three and they lose 14 games in a row.
Yeah, let's hope
So
that doesn't
they got to
happen.
avoid that. And.
Okay, I'll take those, but I want this year. Like, okay, my expectations every year are the same. You know, uh, Stay within second or third place. Make a
Yeah.
run late in July and August. Make a little run. Hopefully, get the spot in the playoffs. But my main goal, Mister Sharp, is that they win the series. They win the series against the Dodgers, right? I mean, that's every Giants expectation
Yes.
every year.
In a sense, yes.
Yeah,
Let's
we
beat
can
the
we can
Dodgers.
be in last place, but let's make sure that we win the series
Yes.
against the Dodgers and give the Dodgers as much. And this is what's great, in the last couple of years, the Giants have been that team where Let's just play spoiler ball. Let's just make it hard for the Dodgers. Let's make it hard for the Diamondbacks. Let's make it hard for the Padres. Let's make it hard for the Braves, and show up. And that used to anger me. It's like, why don't you play like that every day? Every day, if for me, I hate that part, Andre, and you get that in every sport. It's like it's Niners Rams. You get that. You get that. Why can't you show up for a game and forget that it's the Atlanta Braves? Picture them in Dodger blue. Every game, just picture every team Dodger blue and play like you play that series.
What what kind of gets me is they're making these sports players, doesn't matter what sport, but you're making 20 million a year,
yeah,
25 million a year, and you can't get up to play for one team.
yeah,
You can't visualize. I make my incentive is not to have the fans yell defense, defense.
yeah,
That's not to me, the incentive is I'm making 30 million a year. I
yeah,
gotta play like I deserve this money, and
yeah,
I'm gonna show the fans and the owners of the team that I can play this hard.
yeah,
They
yeah,
don't do that. They
yeah,
just I'm making 30 million. I don't know if I want to get hurt because then I'll be in a wheelchair and instead of enjoying my life on a cruise.
yeah,
Shit like that. They I don't know why the fans, and I can understand the fans yelling. I really
yeah,
do.
yeah, yeah.
But why do we have to yell so hard and put so much
Andre's the lazy fan. He just wants to go there and have his beer, guys, his
you
hot
know what?
dog. He doesn't
I've
want to
been doing
yell
it
and
for
scream.
I've been doing it for 55 years. I can't stand up every time and yell and
Yeah,
cheer
you're not going
or
to do
sing.
that.
I can't do that anymore. I leave that to the young kids. But my
Yeah,
point is, why do we have to put so much? We and us as fans, when we yell and cheer, we put so much energy and so much love into that yelling and cheering.
yeah, yeah,
And then to have them come up and screw up a play
yeah,
or strike out with the bases loaded, no outs, and
yeah.
you don't bring nobody in. It's like,
A-
why
And
am I
you're
doing
a, and
this
you're
then?
and you're a 400 hitter.
Yeah,
That was the
and then
thing with the Giants last year. You have the guy that got up there with
yeah,
bases loaded with a slugging percentage or a batting average of 400, but when runners are on base, he's batting 225.
if that,
That's
if
what we got
that,
last year. That's what we got last year. No, I
yeah,
get what you're saying, but for me too, and I get, like, of all the sports, I get baseball and how it's a long season, how it can really wear on a player to try to have to perform at that level.
right,
And then you think about it, as a player, you're making $40 million a year. So in your head, you're like, you like you're saying, you don't want to get hurt, but you got to play your best every game. And man, I mean, I get it. Like, with football, with 17 games, that's, not saying that's an easy 17 game
no,
schedule. There's some, you're getting your ass beat in football. But when you're playing 162 games, I mean, I can get where a player is just like, can I play here? Every
right,
162, not every guy plays, very seldomly. You have to go back to the early 1900s where guys actually played every game, or you had a pitcher, that pitched a doubleheader. Can you imagine that, Andre, today? Can you
yeah,
imagine, a pitcher actually starting a game at 8 o'clock and play until 12:30, 1 o'clock, and then show him back up at 2:30 and and pitching another 8, 9
right.
innings? Yeah, we don't do that no more.
No,
But yeah,
you know, go
it's got
ahead.
to be hard. It's got to be hard, right? I mean, hey, I'm
Oh, it's
making $40
definitely
million
good.
dollars.
What gets me is that nowadays, oh, it's the fifth inning. It might be time to take him out because he's thrown 100 pitches.
Yeah,
We paid him $45 million. We can't waste that arm out.
yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. But the guy's pitching a no-hitter through 5 innings.
Yeah.
Why don't you let him finish the game?
Yeah.
They don't do that anymore.
Everything's specialized.
Yeah.
Everything is specialized now. And I think some of the old timers like it. Some of the old timers don't think it's baseball anymore. And it's just like, well, what changed uh, from, I hate saying this, from the early 1900s to today? Why was the guy in the early 1900s able to pitch double headers, pitch a full 9 innings? They didn't have a closer. They didn't have no closer come in. Those
Because
why
he was only getting paid $100 a game.
and he had to sell Cadillacs after the game. So
Right.
his arm was in a sling. He was trying
Yeah,
to sell a Cadillac.
nowadays, you're paying him $35 million, and we can't waste that. We can't
Yeah,
have him throw and have a Tommy John
yeah, yeah,
situation with his elbow and shoulder. So
yeah.
they don't do that. I
And,
remember Marischal and Gaylord Perry, and even the Drawn Dice Dale and Sandy Koufax and those guys, they would pitch 16, 17
yeah,
innings, come back either the next day or the day after, and pitch another 9 innings.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
And you didn't hear,
nowadays, after
and you
five
didn't.
innings, he threw 100 pitches. We got to take him out.
Yeah, that's the magic number now. Is 95, 100. You hit that mark. And again, as a coach, or an owner of a team or a GM, I kind of understand it. You get to that 100 mark, 100 pitch mark, certain situations, certain batters that are coming up to the plate. Did he have success during the series, or did he have success with this guy during the years or past years? I mean, there's all this math that's going into
Right,
baseball. Where back in the day, it was that it was perfect because Tommy Lasorda used to say it's a gut feeling. It's that gut feeling. Do I take this guy? Do I pinch run here? It's just this feeling that used to. It wasn't numbers. It wasn't, hey, this guy. When there's runners and it's all math now, and it's just
right.
like and everything's specialized. You got your starting pitchers that are going 5 innings. You got your relief pitchers that are coming in. Then you got your left-handed, right-handed. It got to the point where, and
You're
I'm glad baseball made some changes. Like hey, you can't have a guy come in and pitch once. That nonsense is going to stop. So
right. I
think
remember.
about this here, Andre. If the guy is making $45 million a year, right? And he's playing 162 games. He is making $277,777 per game.
Per game. And guess what? He doesn't pitch every game.
No, he doesn't.
And he doesn't pitch every day,
No,
He
he does
pitches
not.
once every 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, yeah,
Where before it used to be once every 3 days.
yeah, yeah. No, it's. I mean, yeah. When you look at baseball and you look at the 162 games and the way they were used to be played and the way they are played today, it's a different game. It's a different game. You've got uh, back in the 1900s, like Andre said, the guy's making $100. So it wasn't a big deal if the guy that was making $100 doesn't play next week.
Exactly.
Or he misses a day because he had a hot deal going. He was hot at the Cadillac dealership and he was selling cars like crazy. He took a day off.
He would make more money selling cars than he did playing
Probably
baseball.
would. Probably would. Probably did. I get $100 every Cadillac I sell, man.
The only thing that was good about those days, most people didn't make $100. They were probably making $5 or $10 a week.
Yeah, yeah,
So if this guy's making $100 a game
yeah.
or $100 it wasn't even a game.
Yeah,
I
no,
bet
they
it
were.
was like $100 for the season.
They were making a couple bucks here. They probably got free hot dogs, a couple free
That's the
beers.
deal. They went to a restaurant to have dinner, and
Yeah,
the owner would go, "Oh, Mr. Musial, how you doing? Come on in, sit
yeah. Sit
down,
down. Everything was
here's your
free. Everything's
dinner."
free. Hey,
You know,
that's the old days. Everything was covered. If you were an athlete, even I don't know if it happened. I'm sure it happens still today, but back in the day, man, if you were a baseball star and in your
Yeah.
city, whether you're San Francisco, New York, Boston, LA, and you were a famous baseball player, basketball, you probably didn't pay for a dinner. You probably
Right.
didn't pay. You walked in and they wanted you to be there because other people saw that you went to their restaurant, and that meant these customers. Hey, if we go eat there, who knows? Barry Bonds might show up and sit down
Right.
and we get to see Barry. So yeah, it's like the old adage of where the cops back in New York used to walk
Right.
down in the central New York, where the back in the day, what we're talking way back in the day when they used to have food carts. They were
Yeah. Right. They're
selling
selling hot
apples and
dogs.
orange. Yeah,
They're selling hot
yeah,
dogs on the corner.
yeah,
Tacos on another corner,
yeah.
and they walked from corner to corner and get a hot dog every time they went to a
Yeah.
different corner.
Yeah,
Corner.
no cop ever paid for a fruit, a hot dog, or anything in New York. You walk by, and you wanted to do that because hey, you
Right.
give the cop the free hamburger, the free hot dog, or a free orange or
They're
apple.
gonna help you.
He's going to help you. He's going to help you. Yeah, so I'm excited. I think the Giants have got a good nucleus here, and I think if they can continue playing as this well throughout the season,
Right.
I'll be happy. Do I think they're going to win the division? Probably not. The money's on the Dodgers. I think the Dodgers are having a little bit of, I think, what everybody thought was going to happen last year that really didn't happen, but you just got a lot of stars trying to be, the guy, be the
Right.
Dodger, and I think you get
Right.
on a little bit of that. And that sometimes is a bad experience in the locker room where you have it doesn't even have to right it doesn't even have to be just five guys trying to fight for that spot. It could be even one guy and another guy, and
Right.
it causing a split in the locker room, or a split among the players. And I don't know if that's what's going on. I think the Dodgers are just trying to put something, putting a lot of new faces together, and it just seems like Bob. Uh, they were and Andre. They were just kind of right now remind me of the 49ers of the 80s. Let's just let's buy ourselves a championship. Let's do
Right.
whatever it takes. And then you got you got you got the you got the Dodgers, you got the Yankees, you got Boston, you got who else is the Mets,
Baltimore, the
the Mets.
Rangers.
But yeah, just teams that are spending money like it's like,
Right.
it makes you wonder, like maybe they need to send Doge, Elon Musk to go investigate the MLB, because where the hell's all this money coming from, dude? I'm not saying attendance are low. I mean, they're really good, but it's just like when you start seeing baseball contracts, you start to wonder, like, where's all this money coming from, and the Dodgers, you can justify it, right? Because and the Yankees, you can justify it because they sell out every game.
Right.
And they're getting $35 just to fucking park at that stadium. You got concessions. There's a lot of money coming into the Dodgers, and it seems like right now they remind me of Eddie D, where Eddie D was like, "I don't care if we make a profit. I want to
Right.
win a championship.
I want to win the
I don't
championship.
care if we, I could care less if we break even."
Right.
Back then
Or
they didn't,
even
yeah,
if he loses money,
yeah,
he'd rather win the championship than lose money
yep,
because he knows, and they all know this.
yeah,
I can lose $100 million this year, which is 2024.
yeah,
But by 2027, that 100 million that I lost is going to be 200 million profit
yeah, yeah. Because you
because they're
win
going to
that
win
championship,
championships.
yeah,
Win championships. Players, not players, but the fans are going to go out and buy jerseys,
yep,
like caps, scarves, whatever.
yep,
So I lose $100 million this year, but in 3 or 4 years, I'm going to make 200, $300 million. TV revenues are going to be better because they're going to be on TV more often. They're going to be the players are going to be making more commercials because they won the World Series.
yep.
So everything goes up when you win a championship.
Well, too, and Eddie D back in the day, who was smart, and it was not just about all that stuff you just mentioned. What it also it did was it made players want to come to San Francisco,
Yes.
and that's the ticket. I mean, that was the thing. That's what I think has changed now in this present time is do players really want to go to San Francisco? Let's be honest. I have no idea how Purdy survived at under $1 million and living in San. You can't. He can't. I think he was renting. He was renting an apartment, and he had to rent it with another person because he couldn't afford. So back in the Eddie D days, winning championships and having winning seasons brought players in. Players
Right.
got that, might have not come to San Francisco whether, if they weren't winning. So it was smart what Eddie D did back then. He realized his system was broke. He could take advantage of it. He was able to fly the whole team and their
Right.
families to Hawaii. What
Right.
owner does that? You can't do that today. But he
Yeah.
was, he was doing everything that he could, and
And
it's the Italian way.
exactly.
I'm not saying
Tutte
that
siamo
all.
famiglia.
Yeah, it's a family thing, I'm not saying the other owners that weren't like that in the '80s, and when you could get away with it, but with Eddie D having that Italian background and understanding how important it is, it's Sunday dinner. That's
Mm.
NFL football on Sunday to Eddie D was Sunday dinner. That was family. He was down there. He was with the owner, with the
Right.
players, with their families. He didn't say, "Hey, you know what? You won a championship. I'm going to fly you all to Hawaii." The family stay home. They didn't do it. You bring them. What do you got? 7 kids? Bring them.
Bring
God, what
him,
the
no matter. And you
uh,
know what you were saying about Brock Purdy, how he could survive in San Francisco and making $1 million a
yeah.
year.
No.
Most players, this is my belief,
Yeah.
most players that come to the San Francisco to play for San Francisco, they don't live in San Francisco.
No, they don't. They don't. But
They live on the outskirts.
Andre,
So
how far it even stretches all the way to Modesto now. I mean, Turlock too. I mean,
yes.
it's expensive to live, and
Oh yes. Now it's
you got to
now it's
remember.
caught up.
Yeah, you
It's
got to. It's not San Francisco kind of rent money, but it's still how far away can you go
right.
and still make.
You don't want to
Can
be
you
more than an hour away.
imagine Purdy getting stuck in traffic on Highway 99 and having to call Shanahan?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm stuck on 99. There's a truck caught on fire. I don't know what's going on.
I don't
Yeah,
know
you,
what's
you,
happening.
you still
I would
have to.
say I would say most players don't want to leave probably more than 45 minutes to an hour
Yeah,
away
exactly.
from
Yeah,
the
yeah,
stadium. Yeah.
yeah. And even then, 45 minutes, you're still looking at,
You're still
you know,
looking at traffic.
you
But if
had
you leave
traffic and at least 7 grand a month for a 1 bedroom apartment.
knowing it's because you're Purdy,
Yeah,
not because that's the normal rent.
yeah,
It's because oh, I'm Barry Bonds, or I'm
yeah.
Joe Montana. Oh, okay. It's $5,000 a month.
Yeah, yeah. Purdy can't afford Black Hawk. He's not. He's not living. He couldn't even buy a garage in Black Hawk, so he's not. He's not going there. and,
That's why
that,
they're still. That's why
and
they're still having disputes over the contract.
yeah, and Black Hawk isn't what it used to be.
I
There's better
know
places than Black Hawk.
Blackhawks nothing now.
It's
It's
nothing.
nothing.
That
It
was
is
the place where McGuire,
exactly.
Canseco, Madden lived there. All the athletes lived in Black Hawk, the gated
Yes.
community out there. But
Now I think, well, it was when I was living down there. For a few years while I was living in San Ramon, Ruby Hills
Ruby Hills, yeah.
was the place to go
Yeah,
instead of Blackhawk.
yeah. Well, even
Uh,
now, like from what I understand, what's going on is Menlo Park. They're trying to stay in that Menlo Park area, Redwood
yeah,
City, uh,
Atherton.
yeah, Appleton, because that's on a good day. If there's nobody on a good day, it's still going to take you an hour and a half to get to San Francisco
Yes, it's
from Redwood City. From Redwood City,
you know.
And you think
Yes.
about it, when do games usually start? The Niner game starts at 1 o'clock. Can you imagine getting on the freeway and trying to get to the stadium? It ain't happening on a
Yeah.
Sunday. You got the
You have
San
to take
Mateo
a
traffic.
helicopter.
Yeah, yeah, that's it.
You have to get helicoptered in.
Yeah, yeah, and God forbid, hey, look, we're not saying 994. What was this? $994,000 is
A year.
peanuts. Hey,
Right.
I'll take that. I live like a friggin' king in Modesto. I mean,
Exactly. I know. I could
yeah,
go to Cotapalota and buy half of the town or
yeah,
maybe the
yeah.
whole town.
Hey, I can buy an olive farm for that kind of money, man. Truncali olive oil, man.
Hey, that sounds good.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
really that has a catch to it.
Yeah, yeah, it'll never happen. Never but yeah, baseball's a long season. Giants are
Yeah.
hot, and I was just going to go through the standings right now, and it's early, guys. Yes, it's early. What we talking? Some teams have played 16 games. Uh, you got the blue, and American League, the American League East. You got the Blue Jays 9-7. You got the Yankees 8-7. The Red Sox 8-9. So a little confusion there, but we all know what's going to happen at the end of the year, right, Andre? In the American League East, it,
Yeah.
it'll be it'll be it'll be the Yankees and maybe the Blue Jays, but for sure Yankees, Red Sox fighting it out for
Mhm.
first place in that division. So we know what's happening there. The American League Central, you got the Tigers, the Guardians, which hey, props to Washington D.C. They're just putting winning teams together, Andre.
I
Right?
know.
I mean,
All of a sudden, man. All of a sudden,
maybe
they're just
maybe it's maybe it's that blackmail money coming from Congress. I don't know, man. But all of a sudden, Washington, all of a sudden, is becoming the teams to watch. And the Guardians have been playing good baseball in the last couple of years too, as well. So, and now their football team. Hopefully they figure out. They go back. Let's be honest. Nobody's going to call them the Commanders. To me and Andre and Mr. Bob Sharp and some of the old schoolers, we're going to always call them the Washington Redskins. We're sorry.
Redskins.
Deal with it. Deal with it. That's
Yeah.
what we're calling them.
I don't understand what's the harm in calling them the Redskins.
Yeah, it's the Karens, and it's the white Karens of the world that are upset that the fact we're calling them Washington Redskins, because the Native Americans have said outright that they don't care. They think
I
it's an
know.
honor that they're
Exactly.
calling the Washington Redskins. So, but yet, the Karens of the world and the progressive liberals. Sorry, we don't want to get politics on there. Let's
Yeah.
we'll upset my cousin Nino. He'll end up coming on the show and giving me crap. We love you, Nino. Blood is thicker than water, Nino. Uh, we got the American League West with the Angels. We knew the Angels were going to be hot. Astros, please just Andre, we done. They're going to have a losing season for once. Just we don't want to. We don't want to. They can't use the garbage cans anymore. They can't use their secret signals. Remember Oscar the Grouch on Sesame Street?
Yes.
Yeah, that was the guy. That's who was sending the signals to him, was Oscar the garbage guy. But yeah, Angels,
Yeah.
Rangers. Yeah,
It's every time the Astros come up, it just bugs the shit out of me
yeah, yeah.
to
Do you
see.
feel they're the worst? Do you feel right now? And I know this is it's kind of crazy, but do you feel right now, whether you're an Astros fan or not, but they are the most hated team in baseball by fans, by MLB fans in general? It used to be the Yankees, but I think,
Yeah, it used to be the Yankees. I'm not
yeah,
sure anymore, though.
I
The
think it's
Yankees are still up there. The Dodgers are starting to become the Yankees of the West.
yeah, they are. We all know how much Andre and myself and Ray. If Ray was here right now, he would be spewing some hate for Dodger Blue. We love you, Bob. Oh, Bob, your thoughts? Wait, Bob's not here.
Oh, too
No, he's
bad.
not here. He's not here.
No, but it's like what really bugs me about the Astros and why I hate them is that when they were caught cheating and they won the World Series, I believe.
Yeah,
Why wasn't that championship taken away from them?
yeah. Yeah,
I mean, what message does that send to the little leaguers, the high school kids,
yeah, yeah,
the college kids that play baseball? What message does that send?
yeah,
You can cheat, win the championship, and it's okay.
yeah. Well, I'll play devil's advocate because this is something that's come up before, and I don't agree with this theory, but I don't even want to name the person that said this because it is a famous analyst for ESPN. But he stated that there has been cheating in baseball since baseball's existence. The Astros just got caught because of technology. Uh, if the technology wasn't there, it would have been just another cheating day in baseball. How do you feel about that? Do you
You
feel
know,
that's pretty accurate? I mean, you look at the history of baseball and you look at the amount of cheating that has been going on since the late 1800s all the way up till today with spitballs, grease balls, Vaseline
that's
balls,
true. Yes,
corked bats.
yes.
Who who's to say that the 27 or 28 championships that the Yankees won over those years, there wasn't some cheating done by the Yankees? No,
You
it
know,
wasn't just because they had Babe Ruth or they had, some of the best players in baseball history on that roster. But who knows? Did they cheat? Did they steal signs? Did they cork bats? Did they use spitballs? Did they, put Vaseline on balls? Or what was the
yeah,
other one, Andre? The filing clip. The
yeah.
I
Where
forget
they file up,
the Emery board.
they file a groove in the baseball or something.
Yeah.
You
So,
know,
how
that
do you
could
feel about
be
that?
that could be a true. It could be a true statement.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's got to be some kind of cheating.
Yeah.
Probably more so now
Yeah. Because we can
than it
catch it now.
than it was back in the
Yeah.
1800s
Yeah.
or the
Yeah.
early 1900s.
Yeah.
Because in the early 1900s, were the
She got,
players making as much money as they are now
yeah.
and saying, "Well, you know what? I'll cheat if I get caught. Who cares? I'm only losing $100.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm only losing $200."
Yeah.
Today's day and age, with all the technology they have, yes,
Yeah.
there is. I would think there's more cheating now than there, and there must look at the black. What was it? The Black Sunday.
Oh, the Black Sox. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, right. They cheated. And they got caught, and
Yeah.
8 players got suspended.
Yeah.
So, and they got suspended permanently. They couldn't play
Yeah.
baseball
Yeah.
anymore.
They got kicked out of baseball. Yeah.
Right. So
That's
I
the
think
ultimate. That's the,
back then
yeah.
they sent the message that if you get caught, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah. Well,
So there might have
that's
been some cheating
that
back then.
situation though. That's a big deal. That situation that was not just cheating. That was
Yeah,
fixing. That was fixing
that
the
was
World
fixing the
Series.
games. Well, fixing the games is like, okay,
It's still cheating.
instead of you getting ahead, what strike out.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's still cheating no
It's
matter what.
cheating still,
You
but
could
I
have
think
got the hit, but
I
instead of
think there's like it's the old theory, there's levels of cheating,
right,
the little, the little white lie that you tell your wife, that's okay. That lie is down here, but
right.
you cheat.
But you cheated up here instead of over here, so
Yeah, yeah. The
that's
little
why
one,
you're
yeah.
in
I,
trouble.
it's the same thing when you were kids, Oh, but I lied because I didn't want to hurt that person's feeling. It's still a lie. You're still
Right.
cheating.
It's still a lie. And it's just still cheating no matter what. So I
Oh,
think, I think there was cheating back then, but because of all the infractions that when somebody got caught cheating,
yeah,
they seriously said, "See you later, goodbye. You're
yeah,
not going to be suspended for 20 games
yeah,
and then come back to play."
yeah.
So I think there was some cheating back then, but not to the extreme as it is now.
Yeah.
Now it's like we're
You got to be
supposed to be in a
Houdini. You got to be Houdini to cheat now. You got to be really good. There's,
yes, but it's easy to do though because technology
yeah,
makes you cheat so
yeah,
easy.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's not technology where
Oh, oh, what did Andre got? He hit. Oh, I hope he didn't hit the wrong button on his keyboard because he might not be coming back because he is not computer savvy, Mr. Andre Sala. Hopefully, he knows how to bring it back. I doubt it, guys. because he doesn't know how to use his computer. He's not computer savvy. Let's remember, Mr. Andre Sala is in his late 70s, so computers it's like. It's like that first day when the microwave came out. Like nobody knew how to use it. They were afraid to use it. That's Andre. Uh, I don't know. Andre is gone. We still had a lot to talk. We didn't have about another 10 minutes left, so it's not too bad. We didn't get into everything because we started talking about the Giants. And when you get two passionate fans that like myself and Andre are with the Giants, and just happy to see the Giants having the type of season they're having. None of us expected that. Do we hope they can continue to play that well throughout the season? It's a long season. Again, baseball is 162 games. Can you keep that level? Can you win 2 out of 3 series? That's what happens in baseball. You have your months where you're lucky if you win 4 or 5 games. So I'm hoping that the Giants can continue playing this well throughout the season. Our pitching is doing great. They're getting runners, scoring runners on base. So for me, they're moving along. They're playing the old Dusty Baker baseball where they're moving runners along first, second, and third, and they're understanding it's how important it is to get people around the bases and moving runners around and scoring. Baseball, we have games that are 1-0, 1-0, 2-1. So, getting guys around the base and scoring is crucial and important in baseball. And I think we're starting to see that with the Giants this year. The Dodgers are the Dodgers. Do I see the Dodgers playing this type of baseball? They're still playing great baseball, but I see them improving throughout the season. And I still think that the Dodgers will win the NL West. With the Giants maybe coming in second place. Padres playing great baseball as well. So it's going to be an interesting season. I'm sorry about Andre dumping, but like I said, he doesn't know how to use his computer, and his producer, which is his wife, Maureen, sets that all up for him. So it's not bad. Like I said, he got cut off. We didn't get into a lot of the stuff that we were going to talk about with Tennessee and the NIL money, which I think is going to kill college sports. But I'm going to go ahead and read a little bit of what Nick Saban. I got his phone call from Mr. Andre Sala. Hey, Andre, don't worry about it. We only had 10 minutes, so don't worry about it. Yeah, I'm live still. I'll call you back after the show's over, okay? All right. I'll call you back after the show's over. I'm going to finish and close it off. All right. No worries. No worries. Yeah, hold on. I got you on speakerphone. Apologize to all your fans out there. Go ahead. Yeah. Say all the fans says what happened, Andre. I got you.
All my 2 fans that are out there listening to this show. I am sorry. I'm sorry, but I must have accidentally touched the green button or whatever it is that I didn't know that I touched, but I must have, because all I get is a bunch of hats on the screen.
Yeah, don't worry about it, Andre.
I don't know how to get out of it, so I'm sorry to all my fans that are out there. I'll make it for it next week.
Yeah. All right, Andre. I'll call you when the show's done. All right. Bye. Yeah. He's not computer savvy, so once the screen goes out, he's done. But I want to go ahead and really quickly go into what the NIL rules and Nick Saban's statement and Nico in Tennessee. I'm glad Tennessee put their foot down and said, no, we're not going to pay you $4 million to stay at Tennessee. And that puts them, a week away from the transfer, whatever you want to call it. I call it the stock market of college football, where guys are just jumping around right now trying to get better deals with other schools. And I want to go ahead and read let me go ahead and read what Nick Saban said. And this is, Nick Saban right on the money. Nick Saban has repeatedly voiced concerns about the name, image, and likeness, which is the NIL rules in college sports, stating that they have become worse over time. And he's true. It has become worse over time. You got athletes with big heads that have one great season and want to renegotiate a contract that they just signed last year with the school, knowing for well that there's going to be another college team out there that may willing to give them that extra money to come play for them. I think Nick brings up some great points that there needs to be some sort of committee set forth for these NIL deals to investigate different schools. And he's right. There needs to be some sort of system that's going to stop what we're seeing right now. Not just with Nick. Nick is one of just a few guys that are playing around with the NIL money. You got the kid from what is it now? I just need to remember his name, and I'll get it right here. Carson Beck with Miami Hurricanes. He's going to end up making almost $10 million with his new deal with the NIL, and I think that made Nico go, "Hey, you know what? Maybe I had a great year last year. Maybe I deserve a little bit more money." I'm glad the Volunteers said, "Nope, you're not above the team." And told him to go ahead and get out there and see what you can get. So I'm gonna finish reading here Nick Saban's thoughts, and it's an unstable model. Saban believes that the current NIL model is unstable, and particularly for smaller programs. And this is what we're talking about. Are the smaller programs going to be able to keep a rising star? Say you got a school. I hate the name. Let's say Florida. No, let's say Fresno. The Bulldogs bring up a player. All of a sudden, he's having a great year. He has a great 2 years. He's getting minimum NIL money. All of a sudden, he starts to look at the waters, dip his toes in the waters, and see where he can start getting more money. And start moving along, and maybe go to a bigger school that has more money, like Notre Dame, Georgia, Penn State, all these bigger colleges that are going to be able to that have a lot more NIL money to offer these kids, and you're not building a program anymore, and that's what Nick Saban was worried about happening, as was these programs, these smaller programs aren't going to be able to bring up a player from his freshman year through his senior year and build a team unity. And he's correct, because we're seeing just the beginning of this, and I think it's just going to get worse and worse every year because you start to see guys like Nico and others starting to move around and trying to find better deals, and it's horrible. And it's just going to end up being unequal play throughout the NCAA college football program, where you're just going to have a handful of schools that are going to have all the best players, all the best, positions filled with the best talent that the country has. And that's not fair. It's not fair to us as fans. It's not fair to the smaller schools. And yeah, look, I'm all for get what you can get. We ourselves as fans, we can go from job to job. I could be working here making $22 an hour, but I can, this company offered me 25. Do I just throw my loyalty away from that company and move on to the other one? Probably. We do it all the time. People are done it all the time. So I understand where the college freshman wants to get the better deal and take the money now. Maybe not be on a winning team, but hey, I know my NIL money is important to me, because maybe he knows that he doesn't have a future in the NFL, so might as well take that money now in college, because you're not going to end up in the draft. You're just good enough to play college football, and you're a star in the college system, but you just know that you're not going to advance into the NFL. I could see where some players are going to be like, I'm going to get my money now. So you're seeing this, and with Nico, is he a good quarterback? I think he was ranked right now. From what I looked up, FanDuel says he's seventh on the list for actually winning a Heisman Trophy this coming season. So he's the seventh on that list of being a Heisman Trophy winner. There's some great names on that list. So I don't know. I mean, it's crazy what's going on. I think it's going to upset some more fans. I think there needs to be a system input. And from what I understand, they are working on putting a system in play to investigate some of these deals and making sure that these deals are legitimate. And the other problem is you've got donors, you got alums that are dumping money into these programs, and let's remember that's been going on for a long time. I'm not going to pretend like that hasn't been going on in college football. You got alums that were dumping money on high school players to come to those schools. I get that. Now they have it's legal. They can do it now. So that's a scary thing. It's just like, hey, Nebraska can give you $1 million NIL deal, but our boosters are going to throw in another million, and to put you over the hump. So there's a lot of things that are in play. I don't like it. Nick Saban has brought it up since day one, what this is going to cause, and we're seeing the effects of that now. And I think it's just going to get worse. It's going to get worse, and I think eventually what's going to end up happening is you're going to have 10, 15 schools in college football that are just going to be dominant, and they're going to continue to be the dominant schools. And you're going to have players running around, just jumping from team to team, trying to get that NIL money. And hey, you know what? Get what you can. I understand that, but it doesn't feel like college football. When I saw this on the news feed, I was like, wow, this feels like the NFL. This feels like the NBA. This feels like MLB. MLB, not so much. There's maybe hardly any holdouts, on contract disputes. But in the NFL and the NBA, you do have the guy that says, you know what, I want this, or I'm holding out. He doesn't show up to practice. And that's what Nico did. He didn't show up to practice. He didn't show up to team meetings. I'm glad that the Tennessee said, hey, you know what? You're not above the program. No one's above the program. If you feel that you can get more money, all the power to you. Get out there and get what you can get. And hey, that's all you can really do in the end. And hope, you hope that maybe you can find someone in the transfer that you can bring in, or and use that money that you were going to spend on him, which was $2.5 million. He was guaranteed $2.5 million of that NIL money this year, which is a lot of money. I'm sorry, it's a lot of money for a 19, 20-year-old kid. But I guess it wasn't enough for him. He wanted $4 million. He wanted some sort of deal that Carson was getting over at the Hurricane. So all power to you. Good luck to you. I'm sure there will be a school out there that's willing to give you anywhere near that $4 million. Great for you. If it happens, it happens. But yeah, something needs to be done. I wish Bob was here, because Bob knows a lot more about this NIL than I do. I just feel like it's like when you start giving college. College used to be, you get a kid from some high school, you bring him into the program. He's a redshirt freshman. You build him up into the system. His sophomore year, he starts playing. You build him up through his junior and senior year. And it was a unity, a family. And you're not getting that anymore. You're getting guys going, hey, I'm better. I want more money. The thing with me that really pisses me off is these quarterbacks. Even with Nico, you're only as good as your offensive line. You're only as good as your backs. So for me, when you start saying you want $4 million, you're saying you're better than everyone else on that team. You're better than your offensive line. You're better than your running backs. And you're putting them in a spot where they also feel like, what is he better than me? Does he throw 25 touchdowns if he doesn't have this offensive line? Does he not get less pressure because he has a great running back or a fullback in the backfield? All these things come into play, and I think you need to consider that when you start negotiating for NIL money, because you're making the rest of the team feel less worthy. So that's it. We're done. We will come back next week. Sorry about Andre. He had, like I said, he's not computer savvy, so if he has a computer issue, he's done. He can't come back on. But it was fun talking Giants baseball. So we'll be back next week. We got a lot to talk about. The NFL draft coming up. A lot of mock drafts that are out there. You're trying to follow these mock drafts and trying to see, hey, Cher and Michelle. I'm going to call you by your right name, Michelle. So we got that to talk about. A lot of different pieces moving around with the mock draft. It's funny. It's always funny to look at the different analysts and what they think the team needs, and seeing some disparity in the way the draft goes, especially 1 through 10 was the one that I like to watch, because that one changes all the time. And we've got some issues with some quarterbacks that I've gotten hurt already before the season starts. So that affects the way the draft is going to go. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens there. We're going to again talk. I was going to talk some NBA stuff, but Andre's not here. But we'll get into all that, because the NBA stuff. Well, let me. Do I jump into this? I can't really jump all into it, because it is a lot to go into. But I'll save it for next week. And unfortunately, saving it for next week, it will also be the beginning. It already started. But it'll be the 2025 NBA play-in tournament. It's back, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the 8 teams that are in that situation right now, playing for that last and final spot. 2 spots, actually, playing for the last 2 spots. So we'll get into that maybe next week, but by then we'll have pretty much a good idea of the teams that are going to make it into those 2 spots. Let me go do it in this. It would be right now in the. I'm going to do the East Coast here. Conference, you got the Orlando Magic versus the 8th place Atlanta Hawks, and the winner will face the number 2 seed Boston Celtics. Losers will play the second round of the play-in tournament. 9th place Chicago Bulls versus the 10th place Miami Heat. I like it. It's a good system. It gives a team that may get hot late in the season an ability. Knicks are going to win it all, John. I don't know. But I like it. I like the play-in tournament. I like the way it's set up because things happen late in the season. Teams get hot. That last 15-game run, they make that 7th spot in their division. All of a sudden they go into this playoff tournament. They end up winning it, and a lot of times they're a team that advances into the playoffs and gives that one team like the Knicks a little run for their money. Watch out, boys! I'm telling you, the Warriors are hot, and I think the Warriors may be that team that gives the rest of the league some worrying. But I'm out of here. It is Monday. Thank you, everybody, for Drink Got 30 out there. I wish you guys would talk a little more. And post comments in the chat, guys. Don't be afraid to comment in the chats. We answer and review all the chats, and we even put them up, like Michelle's and Aisa. We put them up there, guys. So we love seeing you guys out there, and we appreciate you guys. But talk right in the comments. We got 30 on there. I got another 25 on Twitter. Say hello, guys. Don't worry about. Don't be nervous. We're good people. We love hearing from you guys and getting your feedback. So we'll see everybody next week. Same time, same place, Monday. Hopefully Bob and Ray will be back. Andre, of course, the Godfather Sports, will be back with us before his trip. He'll be gone for a couple of weeks. He's going to enjoy some country. He's going to some country. We don't know. He's a world traveler. But we'll see everybody next week. Peace out. Love you guys. And where is that button? There it is.